At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Tenisja.
I am Edward Amara, Focus on Liberia, West African correspondent based in Sierra Leone, West Africa. Welcome and good evening. This is Focus on Liberia, Roundtable Africa. In today's edition, we are discussing the key issues that will shape the Nigeria presidential election come February 2023. Nigeria is a West African country located on the west coast of Africa with a population of over 200 million people, a deeply religious country where you have Muslims dominating in the north, then the Christians in the south and east. And in Nigeria today, we are having a very strong economy based on oil, and the backbone of Nigeria economic is crude oil. Nigeria shares borders with various countries into West Africa and is the big brother country on the continent. That is why it is known as the most populous country into Africa, and it is the big brother of Africa. So whatever thing that happens into Nigeria definitely affects the country or the continent, maybe it is positive or negative. And majority of Nigeria's population is full of youth, of poverty, illiteracy, ignorance, religious mentality, or fanaticism also is on the rise into Nigeria. So when they are about to undertake the election in February 2023, I think there is a need for focus on Liberia to make a critical analysis of the most important things that are going to shape the presidential election in Nigeria. Let's watch at INEC preparedness, the Independent Nigeria Electoral Commission. Is INEC actually prepared to undertake the Nigeria election? We all understood how it is very, very difficult to contest election. And our understandability, especially when it comes to watching at key issues that may shape a popular country where you have ethnicity on the rise, religious mentality come to fanaticism on the rise, poverty is so high, illiteracy is so high, ignorance is so high, jihadist movement are definitely on the rise. There are certain things that may intimidate. And next is INEC actually prepared. On numerous occasions, INEC have been accused of not making adequate dissemination of information, involvement of candidates, and they have been accused of being impartial. They have also been accused of favoring government-led institutions. They have been accused of always giving upper hand to the incumbents or candidates that belong to the ruling party. And INEC, on the other hand, are also a bit constrained, normally in elections like this when it comes to monetary affairs. And the government of the day has to disburse adequate money. There should be a fund set aside for INEC to run their processes and all sort of electionary processes unhindered. But in places like Nigeria, INEC, unfortunately, have not been given that absolute upper hand, and most of them have been actually intimidated by forces in and outside of the government. Like you talk about insecurity, most of the time INECs have come under attack by jihadists. Their staff have been kidnapped, tortured, and some of them have been relieved from their duty. And INEC has also on several occasions complained of not having the adequate fund to run up all of those things. INEC is actually operating in the society where it is definitely not totally independent, because if you check at certain places like Gombe State, you talk about Manduguri and other places, they are definitely on a series of jihadist attacks. And banditry is also on the high. You talk about kidnapping for money, ransom taking, so all of these things. So is INEC actually prepared under this atmosphere? The answer could be like maybe impartial. And since INEC is not adequately prepared, you do not expect a free and fair election to happen. I do not expect maybe a clinical result to be given because of the circumstances that surround Nigeria, being over 200 and around 85 million people have actually registered. But around 85 million are actually qualified to cast their vote. And a population more than that actually registered. And when it comes to displaying of voters' ID card, maybe people verifying their names, INEC has definitely been accused on several occasions of not displaying names of people who registered and sometimes deliberately deleting people's name into their registered voter to ensure that they give adequate support to the government in question. But on the other hand, INEC have said it's very normal about electioneering process into Africa. They have not been the only body that have been accused, and they know irrespective of what happened, the election may definitely not be free and absolutely fair based on the prevailing circumstances in Nigeria. One, the country itself does not have absolute security over all states into the country. And on numerous occasions, INEC's record have been stolen. Their staff have been tortured, burned down. So most of these omissions take place not with their own volition, but it is because of the prevailing circumstances. And all of those prevailing circumstances are now being portrayed, and the body is now complaining. You must understand that INEC may be physically prepared, but maybe they are not mentally settled. And maybe the government also may have its own rules to play. So that is one of the things. So INEC preparedness is questionable, and based on the prevailing circumstances, you must understand that it will be very difficult to even conduct free and fair election into certain polls, because INEC staff definitely will be working under fear and threat in an atmosphere that is full of intimidations, because they have made it clear as a state where security is not strong, they may not conduct free and fair election. And you're expecting the army, military police, pool of police officers, even the military presence on polling days. And that can also intimidate workers, intimidate Agnes, and whatsoever. So these are all the things that they are actually watching at. And there is amount of maybe ambiguity over what may happen. Anything is definitely happen. Let's see the conduct of the presidential candidate. Among the candidates that are contesting the election, around 18 in 2019, I think there was 173 candidates. Now in 2022, we are seeing just 18 presidential candidates. But among the 18 presidential candidates, we have the three most popular candidates. You have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu representing the APC party. Then you are also seeing Atiku Abubakar, who is representing the PDP party. Then you are also seeing Peter Obi is representing the Labour Party. Maybe these are the most popular candidates. But it is a culture in Nigeria that each president, well, if you are the flag bearer, then your running mate should be a Muslim, provided that you are a Christian. If you are a Christian, your running mate should be the opposite religion. Then we also understand that most of Nigerian voting pattern take place in time of religion, and they wouldn't want one religion to be on the hem of affairs. That is why if a Muslim is the president, then a VP should be what a Christian. Unfortunately, for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has decided to choose another Muslim who is definitely from the north, but he's a Muslim. And Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is from the south. But you cannot contest on a Muslim ticket into Nigeria. So they have been accused of failure to follow the normal norms, religious biasness, and maybe they want to Islamize the Nigerian society, and they want to create anything to be on the hem of affairs as if it is the Muslim. And he's inheriting, or he wants to take over from another Muslim, who is Muhammad Buhari. So have you seen this thing? And you watch at the PDP party also. The PDP party is being led by Atiku Abubakar, who has previously worked with the APC when the PDP failed to give him a kind of give him the right or make him to be their presidential candidate in the election. Instead, they decided to choose the like of Amara, and they also fell out on with Goodluck Jonathan. So later on, he joined this PDP party, the APC party. Now he has decided to go back to his father's route or his original route and decided to contest election. But is he actually prepared? He is now in his late 70s. Even the like of Atiku Abubakar is in 70s. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in his 70s. Maybe Peter will be in his late 50s. When you watch at all of these presidential candidates, they arguably the youngest is Peter Obi. And Atiku Abubakar has contested 5 general elections in Nigeria and he lost all. The most highest or the highest position he ever held into Nigeria is being the VP. That was under Olusegun Obasanjo. And when Olusegun Obasanjo failed to back him to become his candidate or the candidates that replaced him when he was about to relinquish power because his presidential term limit were expired, he fell out with the PDP, formed another party before he could join the APC party. Now he's now contesting the election under the PDP party. But maybe he has also been accused of corruption, misappropriation of funds, embezzlement, and mismanagement of all of those things. You watch out Peter Obi. Peter Obi, maybe he's not new to political fray into Nigeria. He has also been a governor. In fact, interestingly about this candidate, all of them have previously worked together, so they know themselves very well. And they know their weaknesses, maybe they know their strengths, they understand themselves, and they know exactly what they are about to contest. But maybe when you watch, arguably the young people are saying, I think let's try Peter Obi. Peter Obi has maybe evaluated himself. Maybe he thinks and feel that because of the current political atmosphere, the development into the country, and the decision of both the APC and the PDP to become Muslim ticket, he has now the opportunity to use it at his own advantage by choosing a Christian and a Muslim to be his running mate, and a Christian to he being a Christian, meaning the Muslim votes will vote for him, the Christians will vote for him. But in the case of that is their own philosophy. In the case of Atiku Abubakar, only Muslim voter and Christian will say no, you did not choose anybody who is a Christian to run by your side, and that also will also have a reflection on Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So people are now saying, and based on his popularity, maybe if you watch at social media analysis, maybe his followers and what the young people are saying, because Nigeria demographic, you will think that he will definitely win at the end of the day because of popularity of his candidacy. But we are watching at their conduct. Are they peaceful? Are they willing to accept INEC decision at the end of the day? Because elections involve 3 stages: the during, before, and after. Before is during the campaign and canvass time. During is during election days. After is when the election results are going to definitely be announced. We're also watching at them. We're watching at their conduct, and we want to ensure that there is peace, there is unity, and they should pacify the situation. So let's come to insecurity. Of course, we know the Islamic State of West Africa is operating into Nigeria. We know Boko Haram, which means Western education is forbidden, is operating into Nigeria. We have banditry on the rise. People are kidnapping people for ransom or whatsoever thing. And I next have on several occasions been kidnapped by this same insurgent group into Nigeria. And you have like ISWAP, or you have like IPOP, ISWAP, IPOP. They are even the MNG, that is a movement for the emancipation of the people of the Niger Delta. So Nigeria is definitely insecure. And even because maybe you can watch at Nigeria, is the oil in Nigeria a blessing or a curse? Some people will definitely argue that it's a curse, depending on the circumstances or the cycle where you are coming from. While others may definitely think that the oil in Nigeria is definitely a blessing. Irrespective of why you watch at it, maybe the way our politicians or the politicians of Nigeria are handling the oil can either make it a blessing or a curse. So insecurity is very on the high. There are certain states to Nigeria like Gombe, state, you talk about in the north, in the south, then even coming as far as in the east, people are definitely not secure into Nigeria. Like the like of Manduguri, think about the Zambiza forest, where people are being kidnapped, tortured, and taken over there. People are being taken for ransom. And at the same time, you have Aswad. Aswad is the Islamic state of West Africa. They are also existing into Nigeria. So the government per se does not have absolute control over all states into Nigeria. On several occasions, generals have been killed, captains have been killed, police stations have been burned down, INEX officers have been taken hostage, and ordinary people have been taken hostage. Oil refineries have been set ablaze, and people are demanding for independence, maybe equal share of the national cake. So insecurity is a very key issue into Nigeria, and there are certain states where you must expect at the end of the day, polling staffs are going to be kidnapped, people are going to be threatened, and securities, they are definitely going to be present on the day of voting, and that will intimidate voters and even impede the progress and sanity at the polls. And we also try to create some havoc in how INEC is going to adequately, independently display their own vote. It's a kind of thing that people need to understand. Then also watch at the political calculations. Before this time, I also spoke about the political calculations. By then, we are having 173 candidates in 2018 election for the presidential elections. Today, we're having 18. Among those 18, we have the three strongest ones. So people think that maybe ignorance, poverty, illiteracy, corruption, embezzlement, mismanagement, maybe an absolute deprivation may lead to a lot of things that will definitely help to shape the Nigeria election. But the political calculation, everybody may think that, oh, maybe, just maybe, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is coming from the ruling party. He's going to win because he has the president's support. We don't know. Buhari, is he going to remain independent? Because no, he may want his party to continue leadership because that is democracy. It's kind of selfish thing. It's a gain of few for the losses of many sometimes. And but we are expecting him to behave like a statesman, and we are not expecting the security also under the security because something very spectacular over there. The security should not use the insecurity nature of Nigeria to intimidate other candidates, to use this as an excuse to inflict harm and danger, to create an atmosphere where people will feel that the area is too tense and electorate may fear. And most of those things could happen in the opposition stronghold or whatsoever thing. So we also need to be very, very keen on that. You watch at tribalism. Tribalism is a very key issue in Nigeria. You have the Igbos, you have the Yoruba, you have the Hausa. And these are, and the Hausa, sometimes have those Hausa Fulanis. They are also involved. We all know how tribalism, an Igbo man, a Hausa man, a Yoruba man, and a Hausa Fulani, all of them come together. And most of them have that egocentric mentality. And people think they should vote maybe based on tribe and also it should be related to religion. And most of them, if you talk about the Hausa man, the Fulani Hausas, most of them are Muslims. You don't expect them, though there are few people who may identify themselves to be Christian, but majority of them are Muslim. Where do they expect to go? They definitely vote for the Muslim candidate. And maybe because it is going to be based on tribalism and religious sentiment. But because people normally identify their tribe based on their religion and religion based on their tribe, they're expecting that. So this is very key about the Nigeria election. Let's assume that somebody is an Igbo, he's a Yoruba, he's a Hausa Fulani. If that person is the most qualified candidate, just because you are from the same ethnic group with him, why can't you choose the right candidate? If you do not make the right decision, it is going to affect the Nigeria society, and you are going to be blamed. So if you are only going, Nigerians are only going to vote based on tribalism. So even the most stupid person can emerge from a tribe that is so prominent, but because of population attached to that tribe, you will definitely vote for that person. So many times, some candidates think, as long as I'm a Hausa, I am elected to run on that Hausa ticket. It means all the Hausas are going to vote for me. All the Igbos are going, because I'm an Igbo, I'm a Yoruba. So these are some of the things that is affecting not only Nigeria, but also Africa as a whole. And Nigeria being the big brother of Africa, we're expecting them to set peculiar but good examples, things that Africa may follow. Because these things are normal happenings into African politics, and they are definitely not helping the society. They are going to destroy almost everything that we have been yearning for. So let's see external influence. We all know external influence is definitely affecting Africa. Maybe if you do not, if the West do not sympathize with your political ideology, they can even, if you win election, they can turn it down. It can lead to a lot of coup d'etat, all of those things. So we are watching at those things. And external influence also taking place. Because when you watch at these things, do you think that Boko Haram, ISWAP, and all other insurgent group operating into Nigeria, don't they have external influence? They do. Why should they identify themselves as what Islamic State of West Africa? They do have other influence. And where are they coming up with this weapon? That is why people are even watching Russia the other way around. And even the West are supporting these armed rebellions into Nigeria. Because at the end of the day, if Nigeria is being ungovernable, they exploit their natural resources. So these external influences in Nigeria can even lead to an extent that there are certain candidates, if you do not have the West backing, like IMF, UN, and whatsoever thing, we create a situation for you that even when you win the election, the society will definitely be ungovernable. So we are expecting the West, especially those who they send there on electoral on monitoring, because at the end of the day, UN will definitely send people there. If you are thinking about EU, you are thinking about AU, you are thinking about even ECOWAS, then SIDEC, and all our places will send their independent monitors to ensure that the election is being free and fair. But are they going there actually? Like, remember some time ago when Victor Angelo, that was the British High Commissioner in Sierra Leone, in 2007, he was being definitely accused of interfering into Nigeria, into Sierra Leone's election. Who knows? Even if anybody who is part of the Commonwealth nation, the person who represents them into Nigeria could be like the High Commissioner. But most of them are involved. So we are expecting these independent bodies to not favor any political party, to not favor any candidate, to definitely dispense their duty independently, and they should get down to the tip of these things, maybe make certain suggestions, lay the ground rule so that Nigeria election can be organized on free and fair basis. Let's see the economy. The economy is affecting because Nigeria is an oil-driven economy, but the entire African society have been dollarized, and Nigeria is definitely not an exception. Since we are running a dollarized society, our currency have been override by this. Our currency definitely have been overridden by this maybe by the United States dollars. What we are having now, we do not have any pillar. But Nigeria is a very strong economy. But most of those the oils are only being refined into Nigeria, and they are taken out for final product. They send it over there, and the economy is under attack because that is why you are seeing Nigeria even queue in lines to ensure that they get access to fuel. Why? It is because the end product is definitely not coming there. And insecurity is also affecting their economy. Before this time, they used to be distracting. Now it's South Africa instead of Nigeria. And you're also watching as COVID-19 affected their economy. Ebola somehow, because it just lasted for 1 month, it also affected them a bit, but not too much compared to the COVID-19. Then insecurity is greatly affecting. And there are certain states, Nigeria hardly, in fact, they have to reduce on their oil production per day. It is because of the action of insurgents, the action of banditry or bandit, the action of people who definitely invade the system to ensure that they cause disruption. So all of these things are existing, and it is creating a huge problem. That is corruption. Is Nigeria a corrupt society? No. In fact, the entire candidates that are now contesting election have been accused of corruption in one or two way or the other. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been investigated on several occasions. Atiku Abubakar has been investigated on several occasions, and both of them are wealthy businessmen. Peter Obi also, maybe in one or two way, the record is definitely questionable. So we are watching up all of this situation. So corruption is on the high. The politicians are corrupt. We have been seeing what they have been doing, like Salaki days under the APC. how it took them too much long time to impeach him, being the Senate president because of corruption. He failed to declare his asset. The Nigerian society is very, very corrupt, and food corruption is one of the main issues that is actually destroying the Nigerian society. And since then, we have not been able to, they have not been able to handle it properly. That is why both the governors, the senators have been arrested for money laundering. Some of them are involved in all sorts of dubious acts. So corruption is killing the Nigerian society. It is even making it to be like in the state of a former self. We also watch commodification of uh, the voters. Most of the time, when we talk about commodification, we talk about how they are buying votes. Corruption also comes in here. Vote buying is definitely existing into Nigeria because it is very difficult for you to live in Nigeria when you are not being supported by a strong pillar. And they make the society so vulnerable, so ungovernable, to an extent that everything that people will end up to be doing is to ensure that they end up to pay for their vote that they are having. So people are just taking advantage like I cannot succeed to get money from you genuinely. So if you want me to vote for you, you pay for my vote. They are buying the vote maybe for 10 naira, 20 naira, irrespective. Some of them are even giving them money, clothes, and whatsoever thing. That is why you see politicians only become philanthropics when elections are around the corner. They are never philanthropics, they become misanthropics when there is no election in the corner. But immediately elections are in the corner, they become humanitarian. So most of those things that they normally do is just like a white elephant. Maybe they will start coming with white elephant projects, and they will start behaving like sheep in the skin of wolves. So all of those, wolves in the skin of sheep. So all of these things, they definitely come in. So both buyers in Nigeria, they give them money, they give them rice, they give them clothes. In fact, some of them even offer them employment. And most of these wayward you, these hooligan, they ask them to become their presidential or their campaign people. At the end of the day, when they are out there, they make them to be police officers. So that is why you are seeing the Nigerian society today eroded with corruption. Because most of the time, you are seeing police officers involved into crime scene. Where was the one? Which credibility did they employ that police officer? He could have been one of the main campaigners of maybe a senatorial candidate, a gubernatorial candidate, a presidential candidate, or even a House of Representative person. So I know that when they come, the best way that they can employ this ill-educated youth is to become police officer or ex-army. And when there is nothing good turn up for the end of the day, tend to terrorize the people that they are asked to protect. So we also have the influence of religion. Maybe we are going to end on this. Fanaticism is so high into Nigeria. We're all religious. When you become a fanatic believer, you create problem. Sharia law. We have seen how Muslims are attacking Christians, Christians are attacking Muslims. We have seen how Muslims are even attacking Muslims just because they fail to sympathize with their Sharia law mentality. And these have made Nigerian society to be so ungovernable. So let us assume that a Christian win the election at the end of the day. Do you expect the Muslims who are now jihadists, who have created a society that is so ungovernable, who have made people of Manduguri State, Gombe State, and others to live with one of their eyes always open? Do you expect them to support such candidate? No. So at the end of the day, we'll still rise against that particular presidential candidate that won the election to create instability. So religion is so high into Nigeria, and the layman into Nigeria cannot think outside the cycle of religion. And they're using religion as a key thing to ensure that they radicalize people. And most people, instead of de-radicalizing the society, they are radicalizing the society. Instead of depoliticizing society, religion, they are politicizing religion. And they use the religion as a yardstick or a pretext to ensure that they gain their influence. And to the layman who thinks and feels that his poverty, his illiteracy, his ignorance, the disease, and whatsoever concern that is going on, the religion has the solution towards it. They tend to subscribe to their mentality. So Nigeria should be wise. They should be thoughtful. Africa is watching at them. If anything positive that happened into their election will definitely affect Africa. So we are watching at them. Come February 2022, we are expecting you to take a very wise decision. This was Edward Amara, Focus on Liberia, West African correspondent, making a a brief analysis on the key issues that will shape the Nigeria presidential election come February 2023. Join me next time. Thank you. Good night.